Morning, seniors. Early morning pre-dawn shop talk again with the chief. Want to shift gears with you and get you a better understanding of how to make a mechanical hinge, handmade. So we know that we're working on a creative projects right here. We know that we need to make a hasp and we need to make a hinge. There's two ways we can do that. One is with steel, forged steel. We'll, step by step, we'll show you. And the other one could be more delicate using copper. But I want to start out with a basic overview and understanding of how to make a handmade mechanical hinge. And it's not as complicated as you think. It does take a skill set. So with that said, we start out with a piece of 1.5 and 1 inch by 1/8 inch flat bar. Usually take it about 18 inches long so you can hold it when you're forging it. There is another variation you can do where you have 1 inch copper and 1/2 inch copper. You can make a more of a delicate hinge, if you will. But the mechanical part of it is important to understand how it all comes together. So with that said, step by step, your mechanical hinge needs to be forged. It needs to be able to have form and function. It needs to be able to work, and it needs to be decorative. So all those three components are incorporated into your mechanical hinge. I asked you when you make your hinge and you have your pin, to have your pin tapered. Obviously, if you're doing a copper hinge, you're going to use 1/8 inch barrel pin. If you're doing a forged hinge, you're going to use a 3/16 pin. But if you taper each side, it allows you, when you're driving it through, when it's hot, to go through. And once you make that end, which I will demonstrate, and it doesn't go exactly the way you want it, there's always that option to chase your hinge with a drill. So just put it in a vise and chase it, and get your forged hole completely round. So with that said, seniors, let me fire up the forge and we'll get going. Seniors, as I'm waiting for my heat, just want to pause and talk about the components of your senior project. And one of them is your creative project. And that creative project came from the judges, and they asked to continue a creative element in your presentation. With that creative element comes, welding, fabricating, layout, problem solving, portfolio, all those things. But they would like to see the students do creative component of their overall senior project. And that's why we chose a small jewelry box that has form and function and has a mechanical hinge on it, and then has to be able to open and close. And for many years from now, you can put mementos in there, give it as a gift, line it with felt. So it's important to have that creative component of your program, which we do have here at Assabet. Once again, I want to talk while I'm waiting for the heat, and bring you over to this area over here. Bring it down. Sorry, there we go. Right there. Okay, so we get the vise. So once we forged our round component right here, once that is completed, that will go into the vise. We'll use a hacksaw, and we'll use a set of files. So the essence of a metal worker is handwork, hand forged, right? Hand welded. So all those components are essential for becoming a skilled craftsman and woman. So I just look at this. At this point, we've got a hinge that works, and it has to be able to bend 90 degrees, okay? The pin needs to be able to fit in there properly, right? Like I said before, we can chase it with a drill. And once we have that component, we will hacksaw each end. We will file that until you get a very, very good, solid fit. And it works easily. Bring it back over to the forge. And bring it right down to the anvil. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to taper it. Glancing blows. That's all you may get for your first heat. So remember, always forging at a yellow heat, back in the fire. Other piece comes out. Taper it. Glancing blows again. Once again, start your curve for your barrel hinge. This will be the pin that we use to drift it. Starting to get our curve, even though it's not perfect, don't worry about that. Come over to the edge of the anvil, square it up, keeping it flat. Put the barrel pin in there.